All right, we are live. Give me just a moment. Let me get this link out and start getting some folks in here. All right. And finally, in the Discord. Hey. Welcome, everybody. We'll give it just a second for people to get in here. I understand that we are competing with Up Only TV today, which is definitely competition, but I'm sure we'll have some viewers. We'll see. I'm wearing the Decred shirt today, throwback to 2017. What's up, guys? So we will go ahead and get started. We're gonna keep this episode informative today. We're gonna keep it short and sweet. Hopefully we got some good content here. We may, hopefully we uncover some good charts. Right now, what we are witnessing is a rotation back to Ethereum-based DeFi. And one of the primary drivers behind this rotation, which, I'm obviously extremely happy to see, has been a decrease of fees on the Ethereum network. I mean, it was only a matter of time. One of the biggest issues here has been that Ethereum has just been fucking unusable. It's been a pain in the ass. But I'm checking the fees right now, and let's see. We're looking at 86 GUI for a fast transaction now. And honestly, people were just underexposed to Ethereum-based DeFi. Everybody had left for other chains. Everybody had left for Binance Smart Chain. Everybody had left for Solana. And we had amazing seasons on BSC and Solana. We had Sam season. Honestly, it's still fucking Sam season. I don't know when it's ever not going to be Sam season. But it's time for some fun on Ethereum again. Now, we've got bullish catalyst coming up for Ethereum. Of course, EIP 1559 is the biggest thing everyone's talking about. That is expected to drop sometime in July. I would imagine that will be close to, some kind of topping event. I guess time will tell. But today we're going to talk, just quick psychology, maybe, 2-3 minutes, just kind of how I'm feeling about the markets right now. What my plans are for the next 2 months. We're going to do a very brief overview of the Hxro Network light paper, which just dropped today. If you guys haven't given that a read yet, make sure to check that out. All of the issues with decentralized options protocols, we've solved them. Basically, no matter what decentralized options protocol you're looking at, there's issues. It's scalability issues. There are of course, issues with liquidity. Really, the biggest issue here is that for a DEX to be really successful, it's, we've shown through time that it's got to be AMM based somehow. They've got to have that ability for users to add liquidity. So looking at all the other decentralized options protocols out there right now, Hxro, of course, has the best liquidity, but the issue with Hxro is that for the liquidity providers, it's fucking expensive to use Hxro, but the liquidity providers for Hxro get raped. The impermanent loss is just terrible. AMMs on options are just poo. And there's really no solution to that, with a constant sum market maker. So let's enter the other side, right? You've got other decentralized options protocols, maybe Siren, maybe, what's that other one that everybody was all hype about? Premia. which are arguably, you know, more user-friendly, more intuitive, right? But the issue there is liquidity, you know, because people have to come in and they have to actually market make. They've got to sell these calls and puts, you know, if people want to, you know, buy the calls and puts. There's got to be somebody willing to sell on the other side. The issue, you know, with selling calls and puts is, you know, that's a pretty advanced thing to do. You're not going to have your average user like me or you get in there and sell these calls or puts. So with that being said, what we're actually doing is kind of taking the best of both worlds. You know, what if you could have an AMM, right, where users could come in and provide liquidity? But what if that liquidity was intelligently managed at the same time? That's what we're doing. But we'll get into more of that in just a little bit. And it is on Solana, of course. So it's going to be lightning fast. It's going to be cheap. It's going to be composable with Serum. You know, these LP positions are going to be automatically hedged. We have probability nodes that control the distribution of liquidity on the network. Those node operators, of course, will be rewarded as well. It's fucking awesome. And honestly, I don't think anybody can compete with it. So, like I said, we'll get into that in a little bit. Just in terms of the market right now, everything's looking really fucking good. Basically, everything that we've talked about is coming to fruition. You know, we're seeing Bitcoin cooling off right here. We're seeing Ethereum really take the center stage. Everybody was super underexposed to Ethereum. The Ethereum Bitcoin ratio looks fantastic. You know, we'll get that chart pulled up in just a little bit. But this is it. I'm really feeling like here, and I could be totally wrong in this, that we're kind of shifting from thrill in the market cycle to euphoria. And euphoria doesn't mean like, oh my God, you know, like sell everything, right? It's over. Euphoria can happen for months, you know, but during this euphoria period of time, it's going to be super easy money. Everybody's going to be getting hilariously rich. You know, people will start talking about all sorts of different greed targets. For example, December 2017, you know, Bitcoin at $10,000 was fucking ridiculous, right? By the time, you know, we hit $10,000, you know, everybody started making these outrageous targets. You know, we're at 15 and now people are saying 30, 50, 90, 100. You know, we get to 20 and people are saying 50, 100. People just keep moving the goalposts, and I really feel like that's where we're about to get right here. If you actually look at the Ethereum chart, and I've got a really, really good Gann fan drawn on it that it's been adhering to really well. So I'm going to let that Gann fan be my guide. You know, no matter what everybody else is acting like, no matter what the market is saying, I'm going to rely on the Gann fan. I think that the next major resistance point for Ethereum is going to be around $3,600. Of course, you know, all your bags are going to moon during that period of time. But it is a good time, once again, and I got flamed for this when I started talking about this back in, you know, middle of January. But it's a good time to start thinking about your strategy. You know, the strategy for exit. Hopefully you're in position right now. Hopefully you're making money. But you don't really actually ever make money unless you sell, right? Oh, but you know, you're dumping on followers, you're dumping on people. No, you're fucking not. Like you're dumping on AMMs. Like these guys are providing liquidity because they make money on fees. You know, what drives fees? Volume. So don't feel too bad about it. But we are going to get into all of that. I don't know exactly what my plan is yet. You know, at this point, I'd be happy with 50 to 100% from where I'm at. That would just put me in a really good place. I think I'd go to stable coins. Now there is still, of course, some counterparty risk to being a stable coin farmer. But at this point, like, I feel like the Ethereum DeFi ecosystem has matured so much from what we saw DeFi summer. I mean, when's the last time you guys have heard of like a really massive exploit happening or a really big hack happening? It doesn't mean that it can't happen, but when I'm looking at things like Yearn v2, mstable, Curve, Alpha, they've reached a certain point of maturity to where I feel like these contracts are a little bit more battle hardened, and I feel like they're a little bit safer to deploy capital in. So my plan is to start taking profit pretty soon, and that doesn't mean dumping all of my positions at once. That just means probably the same thing I was doing, and this does cost gas, so, you know, be weary of that. You know that you're going to have some Ethereum if you're going to be doing this. But no, I'm only operating on chain, Solana. But, you know, moving forward over the next maybe month, 2 months, you need to start thinking about shifting from higher risk to lower risk. Now, I haven't, 100% decided what I'm going to do here yet. $60,000 Bitcoin sounds absolutely outrageous to me. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about moving into Bitcoin as something that's lower risk, even though at some point during this Ethereum cycle, people are going to become hilariously underexposed to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will take the center stage again. So maybe I move like 75% into stablecoins, 25% into Bitcoin or something like that. I think that might be a good way to do it. But the thing is, if you've made a lot of money and you're able to have this big pile of stablecoins you're sitting on, you can get 20, 30% APY right now. And sometimes if you're willing to take a little bit more risk, even a little bit more. And 2020 taxes are a pain in the ass, right? But 2021 taxes are probably going to be much worse for everybody here. So it's just something to think about. If you start to stable farm and you start to take advantage of these high lending rates and things while the market's hot, you may be able to cover a lot of that tax liability you're going to have from 2021 just by being a yield farmer, which is pretty dope. Yeah, 20% fixed rate on Anchor. Dig, I need to get up to date on Dig and Badger. I haven't been following them super closely because I'm not holding it anymore. But I do know that they've been building really hard, and I do think that they're using really battle-tested vaults and strategies. I do think with Dig that the vault for stabilization of Dig is almost ready, or it is deployed, or I don't know. We'll have to see. What platforms am I looking at for yield farming? Definitely mStable. I think that they have one of the best stablecoin yield farming platforms, probably Curve, probably Yearn V2. I'm going to be taking safer bets on those stables, but part of my stable yield farming strategy is going to be diversification. I want to have my shit spread out to different places. Why did I sell Badger? Because I sold Badger at $80. People were euphoric. And I think I rolled all of that into Bancor, which ended up being a fantastic move in retrospect. It's not because I don't like it. We'll look at that Badger chart. The Badger chart looks absolutely insane. So if you are in Badger, I do think that it looks really good. Do I think that my bags will hit the Chaos PRZ 4.669? I'm not sure, Jared. To be honest, if my bags were to hit those Chaos PRZs, I would be extremely fucking rich and very happy too. I don't think I'm going to be holding that long. I'm going to be selling into this momentum. Like I said, I've just reached a certain point where if I get maybe 50% upside of my portfolio right now, I'm very, very happy in life. And the main thing that I'm trying to do here is not get too greedy. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this, I'm sure you guys have made some decent money. Sean, we'll take a look at Woo in a little bit. It's definitely a really good coin. I don't have long-term Bitcoin holdings. Look, guys, there's I'm so interested in hedging from a chart perspective, Tom. It's just what we're doing at Hxro Network is going to shit all over them. So we'll see about that. But with that being said, with Hxro Network, we are a couple of months away, from our early deployment. At the most, we've been building really hard. Long-term Bitcoin holdings. Here's the plan. Here's my plan, at least. 2017, what got my ass and what got a lot of people's asses that have been around for a long time was being too greedy. A certain amount of greed right now is good. You've had to have a certain amount of greed to remain exposed to this market, to enjoy the upside this market has provided. But at the same time, you don't want to get overly greedy. At a certain point, you have to be able to have that number in your head to where you can just say enough is enough. I've done really well. I'm so blessed to have made this money. Now I need to totally rotate and change my focus towards, hey, how are we going to keep it? Trust me, guys, there will be no bigger regret you will ever have from this cycle than being too greedy, making all this money, and then losing it. So that's my number one strategy, or my number one focus right now, is to be a little bit greedy right here. Take advantage of this market conditions. I do think Ethereum is going to 3,600. I do think that that's going to provide me with that 50 to 100% upside of my portfolio. And after then, I'm just going to be playing it safe. And here's the thing. like 25% exposure to Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. It's not going to make or break me if it dumps, pumps. I'm not going to be too concerned about it. But my main focus right here, like I said, is going to be keeping my money, having a little bit of exposure to the market, a little bit of exposure to Bitcoin at a point in time when people are probably going to be pretty underexposed to Bitcoin. Take advantage of these high APYs, diversify my yield farming, so I don't have too much risk exposure to any one contract. And then we're just going to see what happens. But at a certain point, guys, realize, you have to know that enough is enough at a certain point. Jordan DeGeus is saying in chat, there's something well worth said. I went from 50K to 16 mil to 300K with that last cycle bear. He's right. I had a really similar experience, Jordan. It's not a fun experience to live through. But here's the thing, guys, I know you guys have been hearing all of this mega bullish talk, this super cycle, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, fuck, guys. Bitcoin can go to 200K this cycle. It just can. I'm not calling tops here. Let's just be straight about this. I'm not going to call tops. Okay. FTX lending is a great option. I'll have to look into FTX US to see if that lending is available and if it's as good as just normal FTX. But guys, look, regardless of all this super cycle talk and this and that, that's not new or unique to this cycle. I've heard the same bullshit last cycle and the cycle before, and it's never right. And maybe this time is different, but I don't want to be the guy that says it is, when I've seen what happens every single time when people start saying that kind of shit. Bitcoin, altcoins, DeFi, Ethereum, all of it, crypto is highly cyclical. It goes up a lot and then it goes down a lot. It's very prone to these extreme boom and bust cycles. And here's the thing, if I am wrong, okay, I'm going to have this big stable allocation, and let's say Bitcoin does only retrace 50% because we are in a super cycle. I'm going to have that big chunk of capital sitting there ready and waiting to deploy. Super cycle for crypto? Maybe. That's the thing, bro. I just don't know. I've literally heard people say that kind of shit so many times, and it just never happens. It never comes true. Maybe that's just the PTSD talking, and maybe we are in a super cycle and I'm just a doofus and I don't know anything. But with that being said, I've made a lot of money here. I've made life-changing money, and I'm trying to protect that. If I lost what I had made, it would really affect me mentally. And I would be looking at myself and I'd be like, damn, bro, you didn't learn anything from 2017. And I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not. I would much rather miss out on an extra 100%, 50%, whatever, than be that guy that has those regrets because he, was too fucking greedy to realize how blessed he was and how much money he'd made and, how big of an impact that can make on his life. I'm married now, I'm trying to have fucking kids, I'm not trying to fuck around and lose all my money and shit. That's just not the game I'm playing here. So anyway, we're gonna get into the Hxro light paper really quick. It's literally 2 pages, guys. So if you don't give a fuck about Hxro or whatever, and you're just here because you want to look at charts or whatever, I promise you this isn't gonna take too long. Let me get this pulled up on another screen, and I'm gonna get that screen share going, and we'll go over this really fast. Let's see here, desktop background, and we are gonna go to background removal. If you don't mind me asking, how old am I? I am 31. 31 years old. I turned 32 this year. So kind of getting up there, Definitely not a kid anymore. You guys enjoy your 20s while they last. God, my nose is so fucking itchy. Shit. This is the Hxro Network Light Paper V1. It has just been released today. And for those of you that don't know, I'm not going to read this directly word for word for everything, but I am going to read the introduction word for word. Hxro Network, and hold on just a second. Okay. So, the hell? Yep. So Hxro Network is a decentralized liquidity network for risk-based applications built on the Solana blockchain. We are a SAM coin. Through a series of native protocols, the Hxro network is going to provide the framework and infrastructure for a robust, fully functional, decentralized exchange for vanilla, exotic, and pari-mutuel options markets. So vanilla options are what you guys are used to seeing on like Deribit, you know, calls and puts, that kind of thing. Exotics are more like what you're seeing on Tix if you guys have ever checked out Tix, and that's like touch options, close above, we have Bermuda, we have double touch, like there's all sorts of different things you can get in there and you know, enter and play. Hxro is not available for US citizens, but with a decentralized network, it is going to be more open. I'll say that. You know, we are going to have some form of KYC, but that KYC is mainly going to be in the form of chain analytics rather than identity verification. And those chain analytics are just going to, you know, make sure that we don't have nefarious actors and dirty money and shit like that coming onto the platform. Now, anybody, US or otherwise, you know, can participate in the Hxro network governance process and also the value accrual to the Hxro token. Now, pari-mutuel options markets are like our Moon Rect product, and that's like, hey, the next 5-minute candle, do you think it's going to be a green candle or a red candle? Now, the interesting thing about pari-mutuels, and that no one else has really done, is that we can leverage that and we can transfer that same infrastructure over to sports betting and things like that. So you guys are going to see the Hxro network not only, you know, have these options contracts on markets, but also on events. You know, who's going to win this election? Who's going to win this boxing match? Who's going to win the next F1 Grand Prix? You know, those kind of things, as well as, you know, the charts, the markets, shit like that. Messi, can you review the Haka finance chart? Absolutely, Alex. This episode is, we're going to literally be just charting all of your fucking bags as soon as I finish going over this. The first thing we're going to do after I finish going over this is we're going to go over my bags, because I know a lot of you guys are in those. If you're not in my bags and you're just here because you want to get your bags checked out and shit, we are probably going to be doing that for about 30 minutes. If you guys watch the last church, it'll be really similar to that, where I'm just rapid fire, just boom, 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 boom. I'm going to try to chart as much shit as possible, okay? But our network value is going to largely derive from transaction fees generated within the network. 100%, this is really important, okay? There's no bullshit here. 1% of the network's value will accrue to staked Hxro token holders, specialized node operators, network treasury, and developer pools vital to the network ecosystem and functionality. The network is going to be made up of the following elements, which will either be built natively to the Hxro network or composed through tangential Solana projects. So of course you've got the Hxro token. People have asked, you know, how do I get exposure to the Hxro network? You just have to acquire the Hxro token. Now you can get that Hxro token on FTX. And if you're US or anywhere else, we do have liquidity on SushiSwap and Uniswap as well. So those are options for you. Now we have two protocols that are mainly going to serve as the backbone for this liquidity engine that we're building. We have the SAM protocol, LOLs, SAM, a smart automated market maker built native to the Hxro network that provides on-chain liquidity to a simplified dual outcome pari-mutuel market. So the SAM protocol is going to be the backbone of our pari-mutuels. And we are going to be leveraging what we're calling probability nodes to do this. And those node operators will be rewarded for that. But the interesting thing here is that unlike, you know, all these other constant sum AMMs, the liquidity is going to be skewed and adaptive based on market conditions, based on if it's a sports bet, maybe during the fight, if you're betting on a boxing match or something like that, and as the probabilities and the odds change, you know, that liquidity will change as well, and it's going to be adaptive. It's a really attractive thing for just an average Joe like me or you that wants to come in, provide liquidity, make those fees, and have it efficiently managed. We're going to take care of all that for you, or not us, but the network. And then our Theo protocol, which is a self-sustaining, risk-managed, automated market maker. It's native to the Hxro network, and it provides on-chain liquidity specifically in a decentralized market for both vanilla and exotic options. So the SAM protocol is going to be the backbone of our pari-mutuels, where the Theo protocol is going to be the backbone of our exotics and vanillas. Now the Hxro network is going to compose with Project Serum, and it's going to integrate its order book, spot, and perpetual markets. And what that's actually going to allow us to do through these AMMs is to automatically hedge your liquidity positions and things like that. Super fucking cool. But I have posted about this on my Twitter. That's really all I'm going to go over, because the light paper then goes into vanilla options, exotic options, pari-mutuel markets, all of that kind of stuff. If you are interested in this, give it a read. Join our Discord. Follow Hxro Network on Twitter. I also wanted to note we are doing a giveaway right now. If you guys missed out on ape-only NFTs, we are giving away one of the rarest ape-only apes. Now, it is the only ape out of the 999 that has a gray skin color, and it is one of 3 apes that have fins. So it is super rare. This is up for grabs. All you have to do is like, retweet, give us a follow at Hxro Network. For everything Hxro Network related, you're going to want to follow Hxro Network. I'm really happy with our design and everything on this. I think that looks fucking badass. But come check this out. Make sure you're following all of this. The giveaway ends tomorrow, okay, at 1 p.m. CST. So you've got about 22 and a half hours to do this. We don't know the value of this ape. I don't know. Maybe it's worth, 0.1 Ethereum. Maybe it ends up being worth 10 Ethereum because it's super rare in a super rare series. But one of the cool thing about ape only is that there are only 999 of them. It is scarce. It was a fair launch, no bullshit ass bonding curve or anything like that. And it is redeemable for a physical print on metal. And what you have to do is you have to burn it to get it. Bro, you're shilling NFT discounts after you shared your opinions on them being trash for weeks. I still think that they're trash. But I do like ape only because it was fair launch. There's only 999 of them. Everybody really kind of had an equal opportunity to get in, right? And as opposed to these other NFTs and shit, you can actually redeem this for that physical print on metal, which I think gives it more value than some of the other things out there. And it burns when you do that and creates scarcity. I did buy a bunch of them. Let me just open this really quick so you guys can see my apes. You guys know, like, the whole ape thing just really spoke to me. Started the ape meme back in DeFi summer. This has been a big part of my life. So when I saw this and I saw it was fair launch and redeemable and all this, I aped. I just thought it was cool. I know this is stupid, but people say we like the cats, we like this, but I do like the apes. I am going to be looking at a bigger house soon, because I do want to have kids, and my house right now is pretty small. I really don't have room. But I would imagine that I will be redeeming a lot of these and putting them on a wall somewhere. I just like them. I think they're cool. But these are the apes that I have. This is the one that is up for grabs. And just to show you how rare that is, here's the king ape right here. And there's a few of these, right? But if you go to the properties, there are 3 apes that have the king crown, and there are 3 king apes. I think that there's 2 kings and one that's a queen, or maybe there's 3 kings, maybe queens, another trait. I'm not 100% sure, but 0.3 and 0.3. The one that we are actually giving away, okay, is this guy, and he is literally the only ape out there that has the gray skin color, and he also has fins, which only 3 apes have that. So I think that that's pretty fucking cool. So anyway, let's get into some charting. First thing that we're going to look at, just because it's a hot topic right now, is of course coin. This is the Coinbase chart, which thus far has kind of been down only. Yikes. Right? How do you explain Hxro Network to a complete beginner? It's a decentralized options protocol with full governance and value accrual to the Hxro token on the Solana blockchain. I think that's the easiest way to put it. But looking at this, I don't really know, much about this or what to make of it. Of course, everybody's watching this chart right now. The chart doesn't look too great to me. It just kind of looks like it's selling off. There's a lot of early investors that are in a lot of profit. I would imagine a lot of those guys are locking in profits, diversifying, those sort of things. I'm not interested in buying coin, but this did bring a lot of attention to crypto, so I'm all about it. Let's take a look at Ethereum so we can look at this amazing GAN fan that I've got on here. This GAN fan has been absolutely fantastic. As you can see right here, it literally nailed the previous top on the 19th of February. We have closed above with strength this GAN line right here, which means that our next target, granted that 2400, acts as support. Our next target is going to be somewhere around 3600. I'm not 100% sure how long it's going to take to get there. Let's see how long this last break took. So about 48 bars. So assuming this is similar to the last one, which it probably isn't, that would actually put our target closer to 3,800 to 4,000, based on where the GAN is at that level. Ethereum is super bullish. I do think that this is going to be a pretty significant top for Ethereum. I'm not 100% sure, but I just kind of have a feeling that would be sometime in May. But then again, maybe it gets up here and it consolidates for a bit before EIP 1559, and then it makes one final big push up. And it does something like this. For a final target of around maybe 6,000, that would be a really solid 3 pushes. I certainly would be extremely euphoric around here. This is the push that I'm looking to exit around though. So it's not a matter of, it's very, very difficult to sell the top, guys. Most folks don't sell the fucking top. I certainly don't sell the top most of the time. So the objective here isn't to be the guy that buys the bottom, sells the top, although that'd be fantastic. The objective here is to survive. You want to get as much as you can out of the market, and you want to escape, and you want to protect that capital. Fuck. We're so blessed to be here and make all this money, right? What's that time frame trading view tool you just used? If you come over here to the left, you can click just above this rocket emoji where you can see like all the emojis and shit you can use. And there's all sorts of different tools: date range, price range, date and price range, all those kind of things. That's really the only ones that I use. Fixed range volume profile too. I think if you're subscribed to premium, you can access that tool. Oh, what's going on there? So let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Of course, Ethereum is stealing the show right now. With that being said, Bitcoin is looking pretty bullish as well. We had these 3 drives right here. We had a little bit of a pullback. We broke this initial structure to the downside. I'll go ahead and delete that just for cleanliness. We are at resistance for Bitcoin, and it is pretty significant because not only is it a resistance in the sense that we have this diagonal right here, but we also have this diagonal right here that's acting as resistance. So whether you think here's 3 pushes, 1, 2, 3, or maybe these are your 3 pushes, 1, 2, 3, it's kind of 3 push inception. Now with that being said, we are at a new all-time high right here. We are in price discovery. So I'm not going to be the one that says, oh, Bitcoin's going to pull back 50% right here, although I definitely think it might. But Bitcoin does look tired, and I do think that while Ethereum is, being so bullish, while we have EIP 1559 on the horizon, Bitcoin has been king for so long. It's time for this money to rotate back into Ethereum. Ethereum-based DeFi will see lower volatility market conditions for Bitcoin. People will get underexposed to Bitcoin, and then, of course, we'll see another rotation at some point. Looking at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart right here, we were at this resistance level for, it looks like, about 2 weeks. We finally broke this resistance level to the upside. We've got another resistance level right here, which is challenging as well. I'm not 100% sure what we do here. It really just depends on what Bitcoin does, while Ethereum is showing strength. But I do think that it's Ethereum season. I think it's time for Ethereum to boogie. So just from a weekly perspective, let me go ahead and delete these drawings I've done. This Ethereum chart just looks great, and I can actually drag this all the way back to here. You can see that we're kind of at this final boss of resistance in this range for Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Targets for Ethereum, Bitcoin, my first target is going to be right here, somewhere around 0.055. Is that 0.053? Is that 0.056? I'm not quite sure. I do think that we're going somewhere around there. Second target, of course, would be somewhere in the 0.08 region. Now, to actually flip in Bitcoin, and we did these calculations on Delta Phi yesterday, we would need to get to about right here. Now, without any context of what else is going on, and what if this was just a chart you were trading and it's crypto charts, it's very bullish. This doesn't seem so outlandish, and this would definitely be an extremely euphoric moment for Ethereum. Does it get here? I don't think so, probably not, but if it does, like, holy fuck it, you better be selling, because damn, I can't imagine anything more euphoric. But we've got our eyes on this. Let's draw this diagonal right here. Just to simplify things, we're going to switch this to a line chart. And you can see that the top of this channel does line up pretty well with this horizontal resistance range too. Now, a lot of people have called this a Livermore accumulation cylinder. And I love the meme, but anytime I see this posted, it doesn't end up playing out. But if it were, then that would be the kind of situation to where I think that something like this would be possible. Once again, it's very important right here to manage your greed. I'm not going to try to sell the top on Ethereum or any fucking thing else that I'm in. I'm just going to take what's enough. I'm going to take it off the table, and I'm going to protect that capital. Yeah, bag up, homie. It's retirement season. That's a conversation with Rookie XBT, God tier trader. So check this out. We're going to take a look at Bancor next. Here is that Bancor chart. Bancor looks absolutely fantastic. We are at horizontal resistance right now for Bancor. You can see that right here. But we've got a really nice breakout on this kind of megaphone structure, right? We went up. Crayons has turned green again, which is really nice. As you can see with Bancor, once it turns green, like Bancor it trends very, very, very aggressively. Bancor is on Coinbase, of course, which is very bullish. All the normies have access to it. It's called Bancor. It's little out there, I guess a little far-fetched, maybe grasping at straws, but it does sound like something that normies would ape into. Great unit bias characteristics. Why buy one Bitcoin, when you can buy fucking 1,000 or 10,000 Bancor? It just doesn't make too much sense. But we do have this really nice double bottom here as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what happens here, what plays out. This is the first incidence of statistically significant volume, which you can see here if you guys use my volume indicators at all. You can see it's highlighted here at the top. This indicator is totally free. Just search LEET volume V2. Okay. LEET volume V2 on TradingView. Let me just see. Here we go. LEET volume V2. I will post this in chat. How do you turn on crayons? You don't. It's a subscription only thing. Isilico is the one that developed it. This guy right here. But if you are interested in his indicators, you can go to insilicoresearch.com. I used SCMR for a long time, for my trends and stuff. I really do like his crayons, and also this FSVZO you're seeing down here is also really, really, really nice. So if you're interested in that, it is subscription. I definitely do think it's worth it. Check that out. But this isn't an indicator shill channel. Yeah, he does have a free one as well. I'm not sure if it's the trend colors or not, but you'll have to look him up. Yeah, of course the free one's not very good. Duh, you got to pay for the good shit. You get what you pay for. So moving on to some of my other bags, or actually, let's look at BNT BTC right here, because that is a chart we were watching for a while. Of course, still very, very bullish on this chart. Going to the weekly perspective, look at this. Really, really clean breakout. This looks a lot like MTA, right? Really, really clean breakout here. Pull back not only to the trend line, but to the volume weighted average price, which is acted as resistance right here and support right here. So I do think that there's some kind of credibility to that. And now it does look like we are ready for further upside. Similarly to Ethereum, this chart actually looks pretty similar to that Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Just in this section right here, I'd be looking at these two areas as your take profits. This right here, I would be very happy with. Let's see. Price range, assuming Bitcoin stays where it's at, that's about 100% increase, 140% increase. That would put Bancor around 20 bucks. If Bitcoin stayed where it's at, maybe 15 bucks if we get a little dumpage on Bitcoin, maybe more, maybe 25 if Bitcoin pumps. But the next level here is all the way up 300%. That's a 4x from where we're at. So maybe $30 BNT, assuming Bitcoin, you know, stays where it's at. Maybe this ends up being 15 and this ends up being 25. Those are certainly the meme levels, but just things to pay attention to. All right, of course, green all the way up, green on the weekly. Very good to see. Now, 88 MPH, something we've been talking about for a while. It has broken this pennant structure to the upside. If you were to draw random tasks chaos levels on this, it does look very good. You can see that the first chaos level on this is at about $830. He's used those pretty effectively as take profit zones in the past. So $830 would be an absolute dream for this. I definitely am not looking at $800, you know, for a spot to unload. You know, like I said, is that the dream? Yes. But the way I'm actually looking at this is probably something more similar to this. I'd love to see this at $300 to $400. I would be totally happy with my profits then. But with that being said, we're still looking at something that from a fundamental perspective is extremely undervalued. I mean, this isn't even a $200 million cap at this point. So it's just something to keep your eyes on. But this does look fantastic. We finally have this breakout, $180. I'm really looking forward to seeing this in price discovery again, because as you can see, when it enters, when it pumps, it really moves hard and it moves fast. So eyes on that. You know, we'll see what happens. Brief look at our Hxro token. I'm not going to make much commentary here, but you can look at the chart. I've got the GAN fan drawn out, and you can draw this same GAN. We didn't have as much on-chain liquidity down here, so I've converted this to line, and you can see that it's respecting the GAN fan really well. Next level seems to be around 80 cents. Let's look at some more shit. Alpha, I don't have any alpha, but alpha has finally started looking really nice here. This pennant has finally shown its face. Alpha looks really good. I've used that same method that I used on MPH, where I take the length of the flagpole and apply that to the spot of a potential breakout. We can look at a target for around $4 for Alpha. I definitely think that it's one of the best protocols in DeFi. Using random tasks KSPRZ, we're looking at about a $10 target for Alpha. That would be absolutely effing insane. Yeah, we'll take a look at Rook. So Rook right now, I do believe that we are going to be staying in this region versus Ethereum for a while. You know, we did break up to the volume weighted average price. This volume weighted average price, kind of similar to last time, where you saw this really nice push into the VWAP. Crayons went green. You saw a pullback right here, and then you saw this nice uptrend. Maybe we're seeing kind of the same thing here. Something like that. Rook, super bullish on that. They are just killing the game. MEV, of course, is going to be a huge narrative with the IP 1559 coming up. Now, why is that going to be such a big narrative is the big question. Well, it's because EIP 1559 cuts into the miners' bottom line. These miners have profited so much out of the high fees from Ethereum-based DeFi. When you take some of that away, they're going to be looking for other ways to do minor things, right, to make more of these fees and to put more of those fees in their pockets. So one of the ways they're going to be doing that is MEV. They're going to be sandwiching, they're going to be doing transaction ordering, they're going to be front running, all of that bullshit. So Rook actually protects people from this. There's not many ways to get exposure to the MEV narrative. Rook is one of them, Archer DAO is another, so we'll take a look at that chart. You also have Chainlink, which is, you know, also has several other narratives. There's also, God, what's that new one called? I can't quite remember, but there's one that does it at the smart contract level, but they're only just deployed on testnet. And it's one of the test nets that like you deploy on when you're very early in your development. They're not tokenized. And I did hear the B protocol is tokenizing as well, which is a direct competitor to Rook. But B protocol mainly focuses on liquidations rather than limit orders. The vast majority of MEV, like 95%, comes from arbitrage. So Rook is definitely in the right place to capitalize on that. Now, Metric is not a way to get exposed to MEV. Metric is an exchange aggregator, a DEX aggregator, very similar to 1inch. So if you're bullish on aggregators, maybe Metric is a good option for you. I do think that Metric has done a very, very good implementation of the hiding game, which of course uses Keeper DAO limit orders. Now let's look at some other charts. How about let's look at Rook Perp. Whew. Tons of trend lines drawn on this bad boy. Let me clean this up a bit, and you know what? Let's go to the daily. Yeah, fuck this. We're gonna go to the daily on this, and I'm gonna make this very simple. There's not much that matters here. Here you go. Really, you only need to draw trend lines on something that affect you locally, but we see this really nice rounded bottom structure here. When we're looking at the candles, you can see this really, really nice break to the upside, absolutely massive volume on Rook Perp. The biggest volume it has ever seen by a long shot, the first candle that's ever been highlighted, well, except for this one and that one. But the important thing here is that we've broken this channel to the upside. You can see the throwback here. And also, we are now above the volume weighted average price. So I do expect us to see some decent upside for Keeper DAO in the near term. Now, something important to remember, in about 3 weeks, the emissions for Keeper DAO are going to be decreased by 30%. Also, when liquidations go live, the distributions of those liquidations change as well, with 20% going to the LPs as opposed to 30%, and 40% going to hiding game participants using limit orders as opposed to 70%. That remaining 40% is going to go to the people that are utilizing Keeper DAO to manage their liquidations. So flash bots are really cool. Flash bots are basically like miner bribes. I think like 67% of miners are now using that. And one of the really cool things or side effects from flash bots has been extremely cheap gas on Ethereum. It's what's allowing Ethereum-based DeFi to thrive and what's allowing all of this money to rotate back into Ethereum-based DeFi. Flash bots, super cool. Let's look at some fucking charts, okay? We got to look at MTA really quick and then we'll move on. So I got MTA Perp pulled up right here. We are, of course, looking at an insanely bullish chart, very similar to that Bancor Bitcoin chart, almost identical. We've got the break out of this structure here. The biggest volume we have ever seen on this by a landslide. Rejected at the VWAP again, okay? But last run, we never saw anything like this, and volume is one of the absolute best indicators for what is to come. This volume makes me super, super bullish. Rejected at the VWAP. The VWAP's currently sitting at about $4.40. So once we get a solid close above this volume weighted average price, I do think MTA is going to mega fuck. I don't think many people have exposure to this, so we'll see what happens. As far as support right now, this is the area that I'm looking at, around $3.50. Should serve as support for MTA before it manages to clear this volume weighted average price. We'll see what happens there. Now, I am going to be charting shit now. Guys, look, it is DeFi season. I don't want to chart your dinosaur coins. If you give me DeFi coins that can be charted, I'm going to chart them. We're going to start with Badger. And we have about 15 minutes to rapid fire charts, okay? So this is a chart that we were watching for a long time on the stream. If you guys have been privy to Shitcoin Church, you can see a really, really nice descending wedge right here, break to the upside, throw back, and now ascension into glory. We are coming on to horizontal resistance here. I have no doubt that this will be cleared at some point. Buys for Badger at $30 were absolutely insane. We're already up at $50 again. I think a lot of people have slept on Badger, have written Badger off, have forgotten about Badger. Fundamentally, Badger has never been stronger. Let's take a look at Woo. Obviously, at 3 Arrows Capital bag, alongside a lot of my other positions. So it's difficult not to be super bullish on this. Looking at random tasks, chaos PRZ levels, it's a little difficult to do the chaos PRZ on this. Let's see here. And it does look like that chaos PRZ level is right here at $2. And it does appear that the meme for this is also wooded to, and we have confluence here with this huge wick right here. Once again, absolutely massive volume coming in for Woo trade right here. This is not something that I would buy just because I don't like buying shit that's already up so much without, you know, a really strong period of consolidation. But I don't think that there's any reason to sell this if you are in. I mean, it's very stupid to sell into such strength. So Woo to 2 does look very alive and well. I'd be watching that meme. We'll look at... I can't chart anything on BSC. We're going to stick to dex.vision just because the charts are clean, and it is Ethereum-based DeFi season, so I do want to stick to that. Let's look at FST. I've seen a lot of people talk about FST. It is a 3 arrows capital bag that is really just kind of fucking around, not doing too much down here. It honestly, to me, it looks a lot like the original chart for Woo, right? And you can see right here, everybody was saying the same thing. Oh, this is the 3 arrows capital bag that no one's talking about. No one's talking about. It kind of got into this depressive phase right here. And when it actually cleared this region right here, of course, the rest is history. This has been an extremely bullish bag. Anybody that bought this is probably pretty fucking rich. The chart for this looks very, very similar to that. I do think that this looks like shit right now. I don't think that you want to be exposed to charts that look like shit, even if it is a 3AC bag. You know, we'll see what happens, but I would imagine something similar happens to this that happened to Woo. If you remember, Woo was like one of the last bags to pump on the DeFi season we had from January to February. I bet FST is similar to that. Let's look at, let's see, we have Cope. Cope is on Solana. We'll look at Farm. I've heard some good things about Farm. I saw something. Farm is apparently positive EV. And I do think that this is an absolutely fantastic looking chart. You know, we've got this horizontal resistance right here that it's been struggling with, but once again, huge volume coming in on Farm. That's generally a really good indicator of what is to come. I do like this Farm chart a lot. It's done a lot of just kind of going sideways. So we'll see what happens there. VISR, Visor, VISR. Super bullish chart. Congrats for anybody that bought the bottom on this. It looks like you were about at a 4x right here. Now, if you did buy the bottom on this does look like it started rallying before a lot of other things. Rotation is big in my book. I think that there are really, really good opportunities for rotation here. If you do have an early runner, that's a really, really good way to kind of set you up for success in a season. So let's say you have 4x on this. Maybe this does go another 2x, right? Sometimes the problem with rotation is you do end up selling something that just goes, you know, to the absolute like moon or, you know, Jupiter, whatever the fuck you want to say. But the thing is, more often than not, rotation is going to be the best strategy for you. So let's say you did buy down here, you are 4x on this. I do think that that's a good opportunity for you to start looking at things like Alpha, and you just say, well, hey, you know, Alpha looks pretty bullish. It's been consolidating for 2 months. I can rotate into Alpha. I can take my 4x, and maybe I can crank out another 3x, and that's a 12x on that. It's a lot easier to get a 3x on something with strong fundamentals than it is to get a 10x on something like this, which may or may not have strong fundamentals. I'm not 100% sure. We'll take a look at Yax. That's something that I've been talking about, especially if you're in our Discord. I think Yax looks absolutely fantastic here. We are against a little bit of resistance here, but locally we have cleared this resistance level. It does look like we are working on that SR flip right now. This is a 0xB1 coin, and it is a very low market cap. So if you are still looking to hit that home run, which, you know, if you have a smaller portfolio balance, I know some of you might be able to, or might be looking to do that. you can look at y-axis right here at 848 on CoinGecko with just an $18 million market cap. There's just not much out there that has really strong fundamentals at an $18 million market cap anymore. So something to keep in mind. And also Yax has some bullish catalysts coming up for April as well. I think that they're releasing a new version of Yax. They've got a token migration to a new ERC20 standard. So something to keep your eyes on. So we are going to go back to TradingView because we have a couple of requests that need to be charted on here. We will look at Acropolis on Binance. Not 100% sure what this is doing here. Let's go to a higher time frame. And to be quite honest with you, I am not really liking the way this looks on a higher time frame. You can see really clear tweezers right here on the weekly. Pretty significant, right? Rounding off. If you are super bullish on Acropolis, I'd be looking somewhere around here for buys, maybe around 5 cents. I do know that all the shit, you know, the Megazord and shit that Andre has been building is probably launching pretty soon. So just something to keep your eyes on, you know, keep in mind. Acropolis is a part of his ecosystem. Look at KNC. I sold my KNC for Bancor at a really good time, it turns out. But KNC looks good as well. Now we do have this pretty significant wick to the upside. Volume has been pretty consistent here. I'm really not seeing much in terms of a blow off. And I do think that this has more room to run. Now, one of the interesting things about KNC is that they have tackled the capital efficiency problem on AMMs, very similar to what Uniswap v3 is doing. So I do think that KNC has a very strong narrative, especially being, you know, on, I think it's on Coinbase and pretty much everywhere you can trade on a centralized exchange. So all the normies do have access to this. All the normies do have access to FOMO this. Something to keep your eye on, though, because that capital efficiency narrative could be one that's emerging with the release of Uniswap v3, which I believe is coming sometime in early May. Now we are going to take a look at synthetics, and then we will take a look at YFI. I love the way synthetics looks like here. This really looks like on high time frame as well, that it is absolutely ripe for continuation. Of course, green on crayons. Really looks like we're going to have another push up. How high does this push go? Well, let's throw one of those Chaos PRZ fib retracement levels on this. And that is actually putting us at around $80 for the first Chaos level. Does it get there? I'm not quite sure. If you want to be conservative about this, maybe take some off around 35, 36 bucks. That's surely where I'd be looking to sell. Let's take a look at YFI. Once again, look, I really want to chart literally everything you guys show me, but unfortunately, I just can't. We're not going to have time for that. So I do want to at least chart some of these blue chips. This looks fucking sexy as hell. YFI, of course, people have been wondering, why has this not been going? Why has this not been moving? You know, YFI was like the Bitcoin of DeFi. Well, we are back in DeFi season. YFI has $3 billion in TVL. Really good fee accrual or value accrual to the token. Great token economics. And look at this. We've got this breakout as well. How high is YFI going to go, though? Let's look at this. Chaos PRZ on YFI is around $140,000. I know YFI to 100K was a meme for a really long time. We'll take a look at Aave next. Aave USDT. Aave was extremely strong, right? During the earlier part of the year. Of course, one of the best Ethereum DeFi projects. It's sitting right here at resistance, but it does look like it's going to be clearing that resistance pretty soon. Let's take a look at DeFi Perp, which is a good indication of what this market is doing. And you can clearly see here the continuation on DeFi Perp. Chaos PRZ at around 6,900, which would allow for maybe 100%, maybe a 2x on average on some of these blue chips that comprise that. We also have a DeFi Perp on FTX. You can see here we had this nice structure and around 100% on that using the flagpole method. Let's see what we're looking at using Chaos PRZ. around 30,000, which would put us at about, once again, from where we are, around a 2x on your blue chips. Really, really nice. Yeah, probably 23. We actually did Badger not too long ago. Like I said, we don't have that much time left, so I am trying to mainly focus on these DeFis, these blue chips, things like that. Oh, Valley of Plenty, oh, Valley of Plenty, oh. Dude, when is Witcher Season 2 coming out? That shit was so badass. Ledger bags, ZRX, USD. Honestly, one of the godfathers of DeFi. Almost everybody uses ZRX, whether they know it or not. But this looks really, really nice here. Let's look at that Chaos PRZ level. I'm not going to take it from this wick because that's just a little outrageous. Maybe around $5 for ZRX, and that would be around a 2x, which is in line with our expectations for some of these other DeFi blues. Convex Monster, if you guys follow him, he's forecasting around a 2x on blues and around a 4x on your more long tail shit. So what is long tail relative to blue? Your long tail is just a nice way of saying your shit coins. Your shit coins are going to be your Rook, your Alpha, your MPH. It doesn't mean they're bad coins, guys. Shit coin is just a term of endearment. It's just what you call them. Just is what it is. You know, if that offends you, I'm sorry. You guys know I love Rook. It's my favorite bag. You guys know I love BNT. It's my favorite bag. But both those are shit coins. You know, those are long tail. Those aren't like these DeFi blue chips yet, or at least they haven't been classified as such. Also, Curve looks absolutely fucking awesome. This is another ledger status bag. We can come here to the daily time frame, and you can see exactly what's going on here. These wedges, guys, are sex. They've have been really, really high hit rate in this market. Breakout, consolidate, you know, retest that wedge, and just straight up only from there. We are going to come into some kind of resistance for Curve around $5. You know, is that the top? I'm not 100% sure, but Curve does look very bullish. And relative to what Curve is, how composable it is, how many protocols use Curve, all of those fundamentals, TVL, etc., value accrual, Curve is probably significantly undervalued. So if you followed ledger status on Curve, congratulations on that. You are in a bit of profit here. We will look at INJ, USDT. Interesting here, maybe working on some kind of cup and handle. I'm not 100% sure about the fundamentals of this or what it even is, but we will draw that Chaos PRZ on this. Looking at around $50 as a target. All this Binance shit has been going absolutely fucking crazy. Is this complacency? Is it continuation? It's a bit too early to tell, but considering how bullish the market is on the whole, looking at this structure right here, I do expect this to be a bullish case for this. We'll take a look at Ren. Okay, we're gonna do Ren, we're gonna do Link, and then that's it, okay? Ren, an old favorite of mine. Let's go to the weekly. I think the weekly will give a better perspective. So one thing important to note here is that we are coming back towards the midline in bullish conditions. This is where you'd want to buy on FSVZO on the weekly. The weekly's still green on crayons. And Ren is just an absolute monster. You know, Ren, the same CEO and some of the same team that's behind Keeper DAO. Ren, a lot of people don't consider a blue chip. I do. I think it's earned that. It's been around for a while. Don't sleep on TZ. Don't sleep on these guys. They absolutely fuck. Chaos levels for this are at $5.60. That's a little wild, you know, when you take the wick. So how about $3.50? I think that that's definitely something within the realm of possibility. But once again, Ren does appear to be entering into a period of bullish continuation. Now, Ren is cross-chain, Ren is every chain, but Ren is primarily, right now at least, Ethereum DeFi. Ethereum DeFi is what's moving. I'm actually going to chart RSR too. I lied. That's another old flame of mine. Let's see. RSR, USDT, Jesus Christ, this shit is such a fucking monster. It's literally such a monster. It only goes up. With that being said, you know, this is entering territory that may be a little overextended. And here's what I'm gonna use as evidence for this. On this leg, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pushes. Sometimes these things make 4, sometimes these things make 5, but I do kind of start looking at taking profits around then. If I do recall correctly, there was an absolutely wicked GAN fan for this one. So let's go ahead and throw that GAN fan on this, and let's see what the fan is telling us. The fan's telling us maybe around 15 cents for this, but the fan does look really, really, really good. You can see we've broken this fan level to the outside. You can see the throwbacks, and then look at us making a new all-time high yet again. This shit just fucks, period. So, Link. And Link is the last one, okay? I would imagine Link looks fucking insane, but we're about to see. Okay. Holy hell. So once again, 1, 2, 3 pushes, you know, it doesn't mean that it's over. It doesn't mean that it's the end, but these kind of charts are exactly why I'm saying to you guys, like, no matter what you're feeling about the market, no matter how euphoric, you know, no matter super cycle, no matter what people are saying, these are the areas where you want to start kind of thinking about taking profit. Now, here's the thing about Link. Nobody even knows how to sell that has Link. These guys are the same guys that hold BNT, so very bullish for Bancor. How high can Link go? Good question. Let's draw a GAN fan on this. But you know what? I think we'll do Chaos PRZ. And we'll do a couple of different Chaos levels. So the first Chaos level for Link, based on this PRZ, is $70. The second Chaos level is $125. Of course, Link is just one of the biggest monsters in DeFi because everybody that doesn't want to get hacked uses Link. Of course, I was famously wrong about Link back in 2018, I think, 2019. But I have atoned for my sins, and Link extremely, extremely bullish chart. Let's see what happens here. I do want to draw a fan on this, or at least attempt to. Let's see. And I think the fan will give us a bit of color on what's actually going on here. Why is the fan... Oh. Pretty good fan, actually, for Link. Wow. So you can see, you know, Link has actually followed this fan really well. You know, we finally broke above here. We tested that as support, you know, once again. Resistance, support once again. We've broken this GAN line. The GAN fan aligns really, really well with that first Chaos PRZ level, which you can see right here. And what's really interesting, when you have points of confluence with a GAN fan, you can actually use that to determine when this actually may happen. Maybe $70 by sometime in August, based on this. With that being said, you know, this can come to this line very fast and overshoot it, and that could end up being a local top, or maybe we're going to 125. Who fucking knows? Like I said about Link, it's really difficult because this shit has literally been bullish for 3 years. It's very silly, in my opinion, to be the guy that calls any kind of top on something that's been bullish for 3 years. You know, how are you going to, what's your thesis on that, right? Just makes no sense. But guys, that's it for today. Like I said, quick church. I wanted to have as much information in here. I wanted to keep it as packed as possible. You know, have really good content for you guys. Hopefully you guys are making money in these markets. If you're not exposed to the right things. If you haven't rotated to Ethereum-based DeFi yet, you still have time, in my opinion. I do think that that's probably the best move. You know, not investment advice, right? Or no quotes. This is not investment advice. But best of luck to everybody out there. You know, you guys kill it. Get out there, make some fucking money. But more importantly, right now, you shouldn't be worried so much about making money. You're gonna make money. Everybody's gonna make money, right? Even the biggest idiots out there, even the 50 IQs. You need to be thinking about your exit, keeping that money. making it to the next step, okay? But that's all for today. Best of luck, boys and girls. Thank you so much for coming. Before you leave, please hit the thumbs up button on this video. I really appreciate that. I know that's so fucking lame, like influencer cringe, but it does help our shit. Okay, let me answer this question really quick before I leave, because it's a good question. Haley Cyan 026 says, Messi, why Ethereum-based DeFi and not BSC? Well, because when Ethereum-based DeFi topped out in early February, a lot of money rotated to Binance Smart Chain. That's very evident here. If you want to look at that BNB chart, we are going to pull up this BNB chart. And we are looking at a potential blow off in the weekly. I mean, this is one of the absolute most insane charts I've ever seen. And you can see that rotation, exactly what I'm talking about. When did Ethereum-based DeFi top out, right? That was on February the 8th. Now it's time for Ethereum. I expect a lot of this money that made a lot of money on BSC to rotate back into Ethereum. It's not because BSC sucks, it's because Ethereum is usable again right now, and Ethereum is where all of the innovation has happened. You know, Ethereum is where most of DeFi is. BSC is fantastic. You know, I fucked up and sold all of my Binance Smart Chain shit way too early. But I'm looking at Binance BNB at 550 bucks here, topped out at 640 bucks. And come on, it's time for a rotation, okay? That's literally all it is. Like I said, I'm not talking shit about BSC. BSC is obviously fucking badass. In my experience, using BSC was fucking badass too. I don't know, like, for me, it was just a matter of like, hey, I'm US, like, how am I ever gonna see any fucking money off of this? The bridges were shit, I was getting kicked off of Binance, I had no way to cash out on any BNB I made. But my experience with Binance Smart Chain was amazing. Like, it is mega fast, it is mega cheap. You know, this is what it is. Can't win them all. But I do think that we're going to see this rotation. Watch this weekly, okay? If this weekly closes and it's just a massive wick to the upside, I mean, this has got to cool off at some point. It just has to, okay? Especially if we have a nasty weekly. We'll see what happens. So after this run, you think the fall we have another run? I don't know, Supernova. I really just kind of take this one step at a time. It's very difficult to forecast like that far out in the future. How am I planning to exit? Slowly. When my portfolio hits a certain number, which is actually maybe about 20% away from where we're at right now, I'm just going to start selling a little bit every week or every few days. I'm not trying to sell the top. I'm just going to be selling into strength. By selling into strength and selling small amounts, I'm not going to affect any markets that I'm in. And I'm going to be able to average out effectively. Just as, you know, if like when Rook was dumping, you know, I kept buying the dips. I was averaging in. Averaging out is a really good way to take profit as well. So I think that that's going to be the way I'm going to be going about this. But anyway, guys, been about an hour and 10 minutes. Seriously, please hit that like button. Once again, I know it's cringe, but it really helps me out. It helps our search engine optimization, and I do enjoy my fucking job. One more thing. Retirement. When I say retirement, that just means that I'm going to have a little bit of Bitcoin and I'm going to be farming with stable coins. I don't really anticipate to be exiting crypto. I'm going to still be working at Hxro. I've been at Hxro for 2 years. Those guys are like family to me. I love Dan and Rob and Colin and even we have like 30 employees now. Like there's so many fucking people that are part of this family that you guys have never even met or seen or heard of. But I do plan on working at Hxro just to keep my sanity, really, even if I'm like retirement level wealthy or whatever. So don't expect me to go anywhere. And as part of that, I'm probably going to be continuing to stream as well. So if you do enjoy these streams, which, you know, there's 200 of you watching this right now, you obviously do. Don't expect those to be going anywhere anytime soon. I can't just be like a professional video gamer or something like that. Like, you know, lose my fucking mind. Like, what are you talking about? I might joke about it, but that's not the reality. Lols. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. And until next time.